Welcome to Wrap. On tonight's episode, we discuss our unfortunate upcoming match against Argentina, what we're going to expect, our match day 23, and also a tale about my dog.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rap Podcast. Don't know why I say podcast, that's what the P stands for. Anyway, I am joined by Nick and Hattie. Now, we haven't got rid of Dan. There's been no reductions to 3 presenters on this podcast. He is just ill. We wish him well. Nick, Hattie, otherwise, how are you both?
Very good. Very
Very
good.
good. Thank you very much. And unfortunately, the Dragons' injury curse has struck again on poor old Dan.
Yeah.
So just can't keep a presenter fit.
We thought we were safe not having any games this weekend, but we lost a presenter instead from the Dragons.
Yeah, terrible. I mean, to be fair, you two are fairly new to the podcast, so you have no idea what Jamie's lozenge bill was like.
Do you know what? When you're podcasting, you go through them.
Anyway, so moving on. So there was no regional action this week, but we do have a little bit of news. So Nick, over to you with your never-ending news desk.
Okay. First of all, we'll start with the Bristol Bears. They signed Cardiff and Wales scrum half Ellis Bevan, 25, on a 4-week loan period, I believe. Bevan's got 16 Wales caps, and it's worth remembering that his last international was last autumn. But before that, during sort of the summer tour to Australia, he was Gatland's first choice 9. So he sort of slipped down the pecking order a little bit there. And they've also Matt Prothero, who used to play for the Ospreys, has joined them. Going back to the news about injuries to the Dragons, it's been confirmed that Dylan Lewis has torn his calf, and it's our understanding that'll be a considerable period of time out. And just today, the WRU have announced the former Scarlets and Cardiff player and Welsh international Josh Turnbull will join Richard Whiffin's under-20s side as an assistant coach. I think most recently he's been coaching the Cardiff pathway.
Yeah, so he's been academy coach with Cardiff. I think he's also done a little bit with the Rags. He's also been coaching Wales under-18s during their very successful Six Nations Festival. I think mostly focusing on the forwards and the line-out there. It's good call for Whiffin to bring him up. He's a really promising up-and-coming coach, knows his onions when it comes to rugby. Very nice man. I mean, when we interviewed him on the Cardiff Central podcast last season, I think, came across really, really passionate about rugby and coaching. And I think even before we had these more formal appointments, he was doing a lot with Newcastle Emlyn, where he's from. So,
I think he's staying with the Cardiff pathway at least part-time as well. So he's not leaving you completely, Harley.
Yeah, I think it's more the it's going to be what's the phrase that keeps getting banded around, campaign by campaign coaching. So I mean, it makes sense at least at the academy level to have these coaches doing, because they do play fewer games. Remember, when compared to like the senior international side, and probably having them in the around the academy is probably the best way to say, these, because it's at least with under-20s, it's almost more about, is playing international under-20s better than them, or is it better if they have game time at the region, or are they ready for the big step up? So that'd be good.
Yeah, and I guess if he's with the Rags, you can perhaps observe obviously the Rag under-20s, but also players who are eligible still playing for other teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I said, I mean, there's quite a few ex-Cardiff pathway players dotted around the SRC. Same for a lot of other former Wales under-20 or quite young players. So that'd be good. Just wanted to pick up the Ellis Bevan news. He picked up a try off the bench in his first game for Bath. So good for him to see some game time. He sort of slipped behind Mulder and Aled Davis. So I think one of the many players Gatland brought up too soon.
Yeah. Okay, Scarlets have said goodbye to Kirby Mayhill, Harvey Cookson and Alex Groves, who are on short-term loans, because they've had some better news on the injury front, and they anticipate a number of players who've been out for some period of time are on their way back and might well feature in the next URC game at the end of November, and hopefully then in the Champions Cup matches in December. So some better news, I think, coming the way of Scarlets and Scarlet supporters.
Yeah, I believe it's we're expecting to have 100% fitness, at least in the pack, if not throughout sort of like our entire first choice 23, which is very exciting. We do have like a friendly, I hate the word friendly in rugby because nothing's ever friendly in rugby. But like a weird it's not pre-season because it's in the middle of the season, but it doesn't mean anything, game against Harlequins before the URC is fully back. So hopefully maybe we'll see some of those players coming back from injury, maybe get a bit of runtime there, just because they haven't played at all so far this season. So that'll be good. But yeah.
I do quite like these sort of mid-season fixtures. I remember Scarlets did one, I think it was last season or season before, against Exeter during the Six Nations block. That
I think sometimes they can be a bit pointless, and I'm like, if I don't want like the teams that I support to do it, and like it's too close to other games, or like. But in this instance, like I do actually think it's a good idea because everyone's going to be a bit rusty coming back from
yeah, I think a lot of
time
teams are
off.
using them as a sort of a glorified training game, but
Yeah.
it's just another way to generate a little bit of extra revenue,
Mm.
and also keeping interest. One of the big complaints in Northern Hemisphere rugby at the moment is these large international gaps. So
Mm.
kind of helps. The only problem I'd say for Scarlets is if Peel uses his typical preseason attitude of I'm going to just play all the people who I'm never going to pick in an actual league game
Yeah.
because that works really well for you.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the news, anyway.
Yep. One little tidbit of news that came out just before we started recording is that the Principality has a new food, drink, and hospitality partner in Aramac, which I think you said, Nick, is the same people that do the Everton Stadium. Is that
I
right?
think so, yeah. And
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere that it's very mechanized and it leads to a 70% reduction in queues for food and drink,
Yeah.
which I guess is to be welcomed. I suppose the bigger question is, will there be anybody at the matches to take advantage of that?
Yeah. Well, I hope so. It's one of those really difficult things where like we're always going to have bigger crowds than smaller stadiums because it's such a ginormous stadium.
Yeah,
It's actually very difficult to fill, and if we're not putting results on the pitch, then a casual fan isn't going to want to go. And with the kind of issues with the WIU at the minute, more dedicated fans don't want to go either because they're just cheesed off with everybody.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. And, I'm old enough to remember years gone by when we've been not so successful and the aggregate over the whole autumn would be around 240,000.
Mm.
So I think it's, if anywhere near that sort of region will be satisfactory.
I mean, the way they put the ticket prices and however much this costs. It's interesting to know that the food and beverage deal doesn't start till December,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
Oh,
an
yeah.
unusual. Like if they said, like, oh, it's going to start it's going to start in time for the Six Nations. I wouldn't have batted an eyelid. But it's the fact that it's starting exactly when the autumn finishes. I appreciate that's probably contracting reasons, but
Yeah.
still.
I wonder
Well,
if
there's nothing on.
they're not like events or anything, like
I don't
gigs
know.
or something.
I know the can't. I know at least for the bioscience department, they used to have their annual Christmas meal there.
But even
So it
then,
could be
why
so
would
big,
it be
big.
mid-December?
Well, Christmas time.
No, but I mean, if so, Christmas do start like the beginning of December. So if you're changing mid-December, that's a nightmare. As somebody who used to work in hospitality, I can imagine that would be hell on earth.
And I know we banged since we're on about income, and we banged down about it a lot. I don't need to go into details. I'm sort of maybe thinking that if they have signed a new deal around the sponsorship and naming of the stadium, they're not going to announce it during the autumns because they want to call it the Principality Stadium.
Mm.
So maybe at post end of year internationals, we might hear something in sort of December because then they can promote the Six Nations with the new name, or carry on calling them Principality if they've got extended their deal. We just don't really know.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what cheesy acronym goes along with N6N for the stadium. Which I like that they've brought the brand. I'm sure we said this when they announced the branding changes. Like, it's nice that it's aligned with the women's and the under-20s, but they all look terrible.
Yeah. But the thing that made me laugh when that happened, and like genuinely had me in stitches when it happened, was that the amount of people, they were like, this logo's really ugly, like the men's one. They were like, logo's really ugly, blah, blah, blah. And then somebody, actually, not even somebody, quite a few people were like, oh, they're going to change the branding for the women's and the under 20 so it matches now. I was like, you have no idea because you're late to the party. You're the one that's changing. So that was absolutely hilarious when that happened.
Yeah, as I'm sure listeners will probably have cottoned on now. I am trying to avoid talking about Saturday. Oh, no, not even Saturday. I'm talking about Sunday.
Yeah.
That's how weird that the new Autumn series is in relation for the competition that no one wanted or asked for. It's kicking off next year. So Wales are hosting Argentina at 3:10 on Sunday.
Yeah.
So the actual team news is going to be out on Friday, probably.
Mm.
And we're not going to do a pod for all that. So we're going to talk you through our team now.
Yeah.
And now by magic, I'm going to do some proper blustering whilst I try and find the button that Zoom has just hidden from me to give me the record button, despite the fact I've already recorded.
Is that what did Disney call it? Like the Disney magic? What?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Behind the
yeah,
scenes.
they're not. Yeah, but there's nothing magical or slick or Disney like about this. I
You
literally want
might
to
have
talk
to
about
read it for
daddy
me,
issues.
Harley. I haven't got my glasses, so you might have to read it.
Right, so this is the team we picked. This is the team we picked out sort of just randomly on the pod, which was a series of compromises to give lots of discussion points. So we have, and
It's already out of date.
so it's well out of date because Talupi Falato's injured. But either way, despite how this is presented, I'm going to read it correctly because Hattie did it wrong.
How did I do it
So
wrong?
15 to 9, 1 to 8.
No, 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 no.
That's the correct way.
No, it should just be 1 to 15.
I
No,
agree with Hattie, but I think
no.
I heard a lot of people arguing
God,
against
it's
it.
just
I agree.
you woke nonsense people just trying to ruin great traditions of rugby. In fact, I want to go back to letters. Anyway, I'm
Nicky
still going
Smith.
to read this team sheet correctly. So at fullback we had Blair Murray with Lewis Rees-Zammit and Josh Adams on the wings. Centre partnership of Ben Thomas, Matt Llewellyn. Half-back partnership of Thomas Williams and Dan Edwards. Then in the pack we've got a front row of Nicky Smith, Dewi Lake, Archie Griffin. Then second row of Adam Beard and David Jenkins. And then our original back row was Aaron Wainwright, Jack Morgan, Faletau. With Faletau being injured, we'll just straighten that out and we're going to just pretend we've got Wainwright at 8. And then on the bench, we've got a quadruple C in our tight 5 for Brodie Coughlin, Reece Carey, Chris Coleman, and Ben Carter. Tane Plumtree and Alex Mann adding cover for 7s, 8, and 6, and a second row in Plumtree with Plumtree as well, if needed. And then
If we
that
get
leaves us
really
two backs
desperate.
of Ruben Morgan Williams and Nick Tompkins.
Yeah.
It's
So-
Wales in the autumn. We will be desperate.
Yeah.
So we're going
Who's going in
6-2.
at 6? Oh,
We're
yeah,
going
sorry.
6-2 bench, shall we?
Yeah, so this is what we sort of agreed on. So first of all, with Faletau out, obvious change is going to have to be we have to bring someone in at 6.
Yeah.
Do we think we go with someone like Alex Mann because he played it quite a bit during the Six Nations? Not Six Nations. Yeah, well, he did, but during the summer tour, so he was last one in possession of the 6 jersey plus jockey nosing. Or would you be more comfortable bringing in someone like bringing Plumtree straight in from the bench, or maybe bringing in new call up Ollie Cracknell, for example?
I think it would be a big call to bring Cracknell in.
Yeah.
He brings a lot of power and carrying, but given he wasn't in the squad in the first instance, which he obviously could have been, that was choice of this. I think it would be a huge call to include him. So I think it's a shootout, really. Well, probably between Mann and Plumtree, and they're very different types of players. And I guess maybe possibly Freddie Thomas at 6. but I don't really like doing that when somebody's not playing there regularly.
Mm. I feel, although I'm a Scarlets fan, I feel like Man is potentially the better option in that back row if you've already got Wainwright and Morgan. Um, I'm sure somebody will disagree with me. Um, but I just think that's a better balance.
I think it's a really good work rate. Like I'd say all three of them have very high work rate, all bring
Mm,
slightly different things. Man is a bit more of a line out option as well.
yeah.
He's not a predominant one, but he's someone who's serviceable there. He is quite happy over the ball. He will carry tight and loose as well. Just don't let him kick out of hand.
Good,
Please
good,
just
good
don't let
chop
him kick
tackler
out of
as well.
hand, for God's sake.
Good chop tackler.
Yeah, which was
Which
going to
that brings
give
Jack
Jack.
and Nicky Smith and so on into the
Oh
game,
yeah,
doesn't it? Dewi.
Jack, Nicky, Dewi
Mm,
gives him plenty of options to get over, which is something I think we have been missing.
yeah.
I go Man. I would. I think he'd have my vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate
Any
saying
change?
it, but as a Scarlets fan, but I just think it's a better balanced back row.
I also just love the fact that he's just an absolute prick. There's
Yeah.
just there's just something about having an absolute prick in your back row. Right? I mean, there's a reason loads of people like Henry Pollock. In fact, I count
Yeah.
myself. I hate having him on the team I'm not supporting, but you know, I get what he brings. I love more of that in some of my teams.
Yeah, I was at Loughborough Lightning game yesterday, who obviously are the sister club to Northampton Saints, and they had a ball with all the players' faces on it, but it was like on each segment of the ball, it had like a female player and a male player. And I was like, oh, it's got Christine Belial on it. And then next to Christine Belial was Henry Pollock. And I was like, I don't think I can buy that ball.
I just as a bit of an aside though, it is brilliant that they have, they're putting them in equal standing.
Yeah, it is very cool. And like if you go around Northampton, like it will be as you walk down the street from if you haven't been, it's a straight road down from the train station to the stadium. And like on it alternates either side of the road, but the street lights have Northampton Saints and Loughborough Lightning pendants on them, and it alternates as you go down the road. It's very cool.
You know, take note, Swansea City Council for when they finally sort out St Helens.
Or just any Welsh team, you know. Cardiff, you should have Cardiff and Gwalior,
I
etc.,
think Dragons
etc.
have stolen them, haven't they?
Yeah, they might have been stolen.
Because apparently Gwali weren't willing to call themselves Cardiff women, so they were thrown out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Going back.
going back
Anyway,
into the task at
we
hand.
really don't want to talk about this match, I think is the problem.
So
Yeah,
going to the pack now. So
yeah, Pat.
a couple of things. So first of all, that tight five, only one is based in Wales. But we'll say about what the thing. The other issue I have is with our current tight head. He's played 53 minutes of rugby this season.
Mhm.
I know Jack hasn't played much at all either, but he has come off the back of the line as well, and he has played an awful lot of rugby. Archie Griffin hasn't really. How confident are we that he can get in that Tandy and co can get him up to match fitness off such
I'm
little
not.
game time?
I'm not so concerned about his fitness. Match fitness is I know is something different, but I just think that his scrummaging. He hasn't been put under pressure. I think, in hindsight, I think he's only average himself. I think I'd be starting as Arati and let Griffin ease into the series, coming off, and he's a decent carrier. I'll give him that, Griffin. Make the hard yards. I think he might have more of an impact and coming in slowly off the bench as in the series.
To be fair as well, I think of the three props, I say Griffin is probably the one who is most likely going to make an impact off the bench. I think
Yeah.
as someone who can just sort of be an explosive carrier, bringing things on, I think it works better for him there.
I think
But
the really unfortunate thing as well is that if we were playing Archie Griffin, and if you look at the Argentina squad, their loose heads are actually quite experienced in like for this Argentina squad, but their tight heads are really not experienced. They're probably less experienced than Archie Griffin is. And it's really unfortunate that it's that way around because if it was their loose heads that weren't experienced, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's you know. But it's not. It's he's going up against 37 cappers.
Yeah, I do rate actually Scalo, who plays for Benetton.
Yeah,
I
he's a
think
good player.
he's a really good player.
He's one of those players where you kind of expect that he's just going to be good. You know, when you get a prop that's just good around the park and they're just kind of average
Yeah,
in the scrum, but he's actually a very good scrummager.
yeah.
He's
No,
just a very good prop.
yeah,
There's no getting out from it.
no.
It's very
So it's
annoying.
going to
And
be
then he's
it's
got,
going to be it's going to be a test of whoever's a tight head.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we all happy with Azarati then?
Yeah,
Well,
I
not
think so.
happy, but we're all agreed it's probably going to be Azarati. I think
Yeah.
Azarati maybe gets an edge there.
It's just like which turd can we
I
polish the
know he's been
most?
playing not well in a not well Scarlet's team, but I would feel so much happier with Henry Thomas in the squad just because
He's
I
actually
know
been
he's going to
very
prop the
good.
scrum. I know he's going to hold up the scrum.
I don't agree, but there we are.
Well, apparently they just don't want what both are offers as just a stationary scrum emplacement. And let's be fair, I don't think anywhere there aren't really any. I mean, it'd be nice if Thomas Francis was available,
Yeah.
was turned around and said, "Yeah, I'll play." I think he said
Yeah.
when he left for the Pro Day, he just went, I just want to drink wine and eat cheese and play rugby now."
But
Mm.
I could be wrong, but does the Pro Data have to release players for the international window?
They do during the official windows.
Uh,
Which this is.
yeah,
Yeah, so they have to release them.
interesting.
I think some French clubs have in the past with their Pacific Islanders offered incentives to not go in the past.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
as a
go back
case
to
of them
tight.
saying,
Allegedly,
we're not gonna we
allegedly,
can't stop you from going, but would you like this bumper paycheck to play this game?
allegedly, allegedly.
Yeah, if they can sue me for the 50p in my bank account, fine.
Just go back to tight head. I think it's worth just pointing out we have been a little bit unlucky with injuries in this position because we could have been going into this autumn with Leon Brown, who'd have been a decent player by now, I'm sure. And of course, Samson Lee would only be about 31, 32 coming into his prime. So we have produced, it's not completely true that we haven't produced good tight heads, but for different reasons. And in two cases, injuries which have forced them to retire very young.
Yeah,
Also,
unfortunate.
I do think.
We
Sorry,
don't produce
Harley.
we don't produce durable tight heads because even as a Verati, when he seems to be picking up a thing in form where he's playing well, then he'll just get an injury that sets him back a few weeks.
I think is what like part of it, like when it comes to some parts of durability, some parts of it being just like I just don't think we maybe produce enough good scrummagers. It's just our development. It's our development of technical roles. So whether that be our props, even our hookers, like we've got lucky, but a lot of our hookers just technically aren't great. It's the same with our tens. It's the same. Well, to be fair, we produce a decent amount of nines, but we just our development just isn't there.
Yeah, which is going back to where hopefully at least with the new stuff, what we discussed last week with the increased funding to academies. Although I still disagree with cutting numbers. I feel like
Yeah,
we should be casting
that's
a wider net, not a narrower one.
yeah.
Again, we're just trying to avoid talking about this game.
Yeah.
Second row, I can't see, and I know neither of them have been playing in Wales well, but I'd say they're the best two second rows available. Adam Beard seems to be doing very well for, you know, HMP United, ROC. David Jenkins, I know Hattie and Dan had a bit of discussion about this on a previous pod, but I think David is looking very good. I think we are struggling that neither of them are decent for one first up carrier.
Yeah, I
But I
see.
feel like the biggest answer to that got his foot dislocated. So
Yeah, I feel like with Dav, he has put on a little bit of muscle, but he was also a beanpole to begin with. So like he's still quite stringy, if that's a word, for a second row. I still think, but he's still very young. He's got time to beef up.
one
And
thing with
Adam
him at least,
Beard
he's
isn't
got the
particularly
attitude
beefy.
to it. He's got the attitude to make those carries and
Yeah,
to hit rucks.
it's just not as powerful as it could be because he's just not maybe as
Could
big
be,
as he
I
could
said his
be.
carrying may not be the best, but is it ruck cleaning? It's incredibly efficient, which is something Wales do struggle on. because we
Yeah.
don't have those huge gangler breaking carriers. Your ruck work needs to be to add in Beard. We know what he offers, Maul and like Maul time. Very underrated in scrum as well, from what I've been told.
Mm.
And
He
good
does
and a
have
very
add
good
a lot of
lineup.
weight, which will help with having slightly smaller and less experienced props.
Yeah.
Do you think?
And I think we've just got to make up for the lack of carrying elsewhere.
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion
You can.
that we switch Beard and Jenkins around?
Yeah.
Just as we're talking about Beard being the better scrummager, it would make sense for him to go up Archie Griffin's, up the
Be careful what you're saying now.
spam.
Be careful what you're saying now, Hattie.
Yeah, so we'll have Beard scrummaging on the tight head. Although to be
Yeah.
fair,
That's
it is the
better.
right. I don't. So you could joke it. Oh, we've just written it in South African fashion, where they have their tight head lockers in it before, but then there's also the flanker switch, which won't go into there.
Yeah.
So I think we're happy with that starting pack then, other
Yeah.
than a positional switch.
Yeah,
And,
and what man at 6?
Yeah, man in at 6, Azerati for Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. No tempted for a different loose head.
No.
No one to start Gareth Thomas and bring Nicky off the bench.
No.
No.
Just making sure. All right. I don't want someone to come at me when in the back channels after this going, I wanted this.
I like Nicky. Sorry, I like Gareth Thomas, but I think at the moment, I think probably scrummaging is more important than chop tackling.
I mean, depends. I mean, this is Tandy. We don't know. And I wouldn't say Gareth Thomas is a particularly poor scrummager either.
No.
Yeah, but he's not Nicky Smith.
Well, I say they're two different. Like Gareth Thomas, you'll get a lot. He'll hold the scrum and secure it. Nicky Smith, you'll gain penalties, but you might lose them because aggressive style. So it's a bit of what you want in your scrums then.
But do you know what none of them have that Nicky Smith does?
Super fan Darren in his corner.
No, but yes. I was going to say he's the brother-in-law of Jazz Joyce and Alicia Joyce Butchers.
All right.
Yeah.
No, that.
Yeah,
They're trying taking the Queens of Wales down, in my opinion.
Yeah, his wife is Alicia Butchers, Joyce Butchers' sister.
You know, see.
Yeah.
See, women's rugby, it's all about who's married to.
Who's married to? So the two players are married to each other, and one of them's sister is married to a men's international as well, because Wales is so small.
Right, halfbacks. I haven't seen anything that says Thomas doesn't waltz straight in and grab the 9 jersey. Don't know if anyone disagrees.
No.
Mm.
And then as his halfback partner, Daniel just had the shirt last, but Sheedy has been playing very well.
Mm.
Any calls to change that, or are we happy to keep the incumbent in there for now?
Yeah, I think it'll be very. As I say, we don't know what Tandy's thinking is, do we? It's if it was Sherrod still in charge, you've got a little bit of a flavour from the matches he was in. In the Six Nations, we just assume that Dan Edwards has been playing all right so far this season. He's been brilliant, but he's played all right, and he's the incumbent.
Yeah. One thing I'm sure friend of the pod Hugh would ask me to bring up, because just as bad as he does want to point out that with the Ospreys defensive system, that Dan Edwards very really joins the line at 10 in defence. That's quite common with international. Not to worry about that, but that is something that could play in the thing. You also have the fact that Jared Evans and Thomas Williams basically grew up together.
Yeah, I don't think that brings him in to start though.
No, I'm just bringing these up as talking points, because if we just go, oh yes, I agree with this, this would be a very short podcast.
It would. Yeah. Do you know what? Fair enough. It makes up for all the times we've been almost 2 hours long.
Yeah, but just to go back on that point, can I just get a point in about Dan? He's not the biggest, but neither are the other two, are they? Would you say that there's the strength of Jared Evans or oh gosh,
Jared Evans is actually surprisingly always hit quite well at high above his weight.
Yeah.
Fortunately, is hitting high above your weight when you're 70 kilos soaking wet doesn't leave a huge amount of room when you've got big guys on there. And Sheedy, I think last season proved his defence can be an issue, but actually I think it has improved very much at Cardiff. He's not getting bounced off straight away so much.
I have to say, like, when you look at Cardiff at the moment, it does add bonus points to Sheedy getting selected. And I think with Touloupe Faletau being out of the squad, I always feel like when we play Touloupe, we have to have a 6-2 bench because he can't play a full 80 anymore, which is fine because when he is on, he's incredible. So I'm just wondering, seeing as we've got maybe a slightly more physically less damaged forward pack, I regret saying that now. I don't know if we maybe go for a 5-5-3 instead of a 6-2 and then have Sheedy on the bench.
Yes, possible.
Yeah.
Centre partnership. I'll die on the hill of Ben Thomas and Max Llewellyn just because it's the last centre partnership we had for. Actually, no, because it was Thomas and Rogers, wasn't it, for a while?
But they played together most out of all the games last year when they were both available. Yeah. They were first choice.
And I think we really need to just settle on that, regardless of how well it works or whatever. Let's just get it there. I think for a lot of these combinations, we've got to give them time. Give them 5. Let's be honest. No one's expecting anything of this autumn, really. Probably not the autumn after. So let's focus on trying to get something that looks right for the.
Can I just give a shout out? I do like the inclusion of Louis Hennessy. I know he hasn't played much, but he's a big lad. He's skillful. He's fast. He scores a lot of tries as well. You look at his scoring rate for under-20s and Bath. He does get over the line. So I would like to see him involved somewhere in this series.
Jockey had a good look at him last season. Went to cover our when he was there for a few training sessions. He didn't play, but Jockey had had a good look at him, and it does say to me, looking at the centres we've got, you've got Ben Thomas, you've got Joe Hawkins, who are two very obviously, playmaking 12s, and then you've got Max Llewellyn. All right, he can beat 12 or 13, but he's a faster, more physical 13. Hennessy's in the similar mode, and then you've got Nick Tompkins, who, if you want a bit more speed or handling in 13, he can go there, or he can go into 12. So, he's probably a little bit more of a crash ball, but not obvious. So it does actually for me, it gives actually quite a nice balance.
I think, I agree with Nick though about we just need to hammer down a centre partnership and stick with
it. So I agree with that. I'm just saying that looking at the choice of the centres, you can see that it looks like they're settling. They really settled on a style of what they want.
Yes,
in their roles,
and
I think that is also important.
And I think the start, as you say, like this, not just the centre partnership is that this is our starting centre partnership, but the style of centre partnership that we have. I think we were just playing roulette too often, and it was just whatever fell out with the tombola on that day was the starting centre partnership, and it never really worked. I think we need to find a style in our backline and stick with it, even if it's 75% this autumn. Well, if the players know the system and we know exactly what we want our centres to do, then the Six Nations might have some improvement. I say might, it's Wales.
Absolutely. So I think we agree then. Well, we're going to keep our centre partnership, then move on to the back three, which hopefully Blair Murray's fixed his hair, because if he hasn't, he's out.
He has, and he was.
He can stay at 15. Then I won't call for a.
He was Player of the Month for the Scarlets this month, because he was the only one that wasn't shocking.
So I think for me, if Samit's fit, I can see Tandy bringing him in.
Doesn't he have a broken toenail?
Yes, he's been out with a toe injury since like his first appearance for Bristol, or first or second appearance for Bristol, which doesn't say much for all the people who are saying, "Oh well, he hasn't really had to deal with proper contact for a while, so
he's always been a bit delicate, hasn't he?"
He seems from the training pictures now.
I think,
from the training pictures and things they've released, he seems to be taking a full part in training.
It's one of those things where it's annoying that he does seem to go down with like these really very small injuries. then obviously we wish them all the best, and we don't want players to play when they're injured and player welfare, etc., etc. But also, he does kind of come straight back in because he's just so bloody fast.
Well, I think this is the problem why he ends up out with these minor injuries is because his big thing is speed, and anything, and any of these minor niggles will massively tank that.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to
And
feel sorry a bit for Tom Rogers, though, because he's done nothing wrong for Wales or
No.
for when he's played for the Scarlets.
No.
I said when we were discussing this about Zammit coming back to rugby union, I said for me I'd keep Rogers in as the incumbent. So I think he's just brilliant. I think his high ball work, particularly where the game is becoming a lot more of an aerial contest. I think it's a really underrated. It's something we seem to be underrated, but being really fucking quick also helps.
Him and Blair Murray are kind of an interesting duo because I think sometimes there is this like perception of like, oh well, like wingers and 15s, it's the same position, whatever, people move between the two all the time. Both of them genuinely can play on the wing or they can play 15. I think sometimes you get a winger who plays 15 and their work in the air just isn't great, but both of them are really good, and I think you can swap them in and out relatively interchangeably. I would rather have Blair Murray at 15 though. Rogers on the wing.
But
Yeah,
are we going
I said I
to
think
stick
Zammit
with
comes
Louis?
in that I can play 15, but really I'm an out and out wing.
So
Edge
Louis
choice as well,
Rees-Zammit.
another one. Yeah, I say Zam. Yeah, we stick. I'm saying Zammit to me, someone who says he can play 15, but
Yeah, yeah.
from an attacking perspective, I can see it, but
His
also
I
you
mean his
can just have a
defense is
roaming
his
winger
weakest
role and do
link,
the same thing.
and
I think with him now we just need to at least give him some familiarity, and he's familiar with playing right wing, and see how he goes.
I think unfortunately he brings in a lot of teenage girls as fans, and seeing as our ticket sales are so poor,
Yeah.
I
Come on,
said the
Louis,
one thing for me is
score two
I'd
tries.
swap those wingers round personally. I know they say he's familiar with right wing, but I just know because the way Sherat plays, how he likes to set up his back three, he wants his speed on the left because he wants play to go to the left and they can come through.
Yeah,
And
I
then
agree.
usually you're more aerially dominant and hard-working winger. But Josh Adams statistically scores more tries when he's on the left wing, so I'm happy for this.
But does that statistic include like 2019, where he was on fire and he's aged?
It includes for Cardiff when he's been on fire.
Okay.
Usually, so it's one of those things. I think it's something me and Squidge are looking at because I think it was comparing his whenever he was at 13 as well. He's got a better score rate at 13 than he does at right wing. Because it's a weird quirk of the Welsh system.
That's
The right winger
cursed.
quite often goes. The right wing is always. It happened with George North when he was on the right, and Alex Cuthbert whenever they were on the right wing as opposed to the left. Their try scoring just went down just because the way the Welsh seem to naturally play.
Yeah, and if you're on the Welsh women's team, if you play on the wing, it means you never score.
Yeah, well, I wonder what numbers position that would have been an issue with. I'm sure the back scored a try during the World Cup.
Yeah, I think they all came from Karis Cox. Yeah.
So before we start digressing into the other Wales team, because it gives me marginally more joy. So going for the bench, any change on the bench? So Nick, you mentioned going to six, and Hattie, you mentioned going to 5-3 as opposed to 6-2. So if Man is going to start, would the only be change there bringing in Sheedy, or do you want to change?
Well, actually, if we've got Sheedy on the bench, do we need Tompkins?
I'm not going to lie. The second half of that question I've been asking for myself for quite a while.
Remind me of who's on the bench.
Do you want me to run through it? It's Coughlin, Kare, Coleman, Carter, Plumtree, Man we said moved into 6, Morgan Williams, and Tompkins.
Yeah, I want to make some changes.
Okay.
I don't know if this is a game. I'm not sure if this is a game for Coughlin. Belcher will bring you a bit more leadership, perhaps, coming off the bench for the last 5, 6, 10 minutes. And
I'd be honest, when I put this in as the bench, it was basically I just thought it was quite funny to have 4 players whose surnames all started with C.
right, okay. And didn't we say Griffin's got to go on the bench instead of Gussie Coleman?
I'd be tempted, but I mean, it depends on. I say, do we want Coleman because he's had marginally more game time, or do we go for Griffin because he's more proven? He has played better.
He's a better carrier.
Yeah.
This is where we need Dan to make final front row decisions.
No, because otherwise Azarati had been binned out of the squad.
What about Freddie Thomas? As somebody can cover second row.
As a tight end, no.
No, second row and back row. On the
So
bench.
you swap him out instead of Carter, or have him as instead of Plumtree?
I'm just saying, yeah, I don't know. I'm just asking the question, and I don't think there's much in it. I keep Plumtree as there, but I'm just asking the question.
Carter
or Freddie Thomas?
Thomas is one of those players, whenever I see him play for Wales, I'm like, why does he not play for Wales more often?
I think when I was sort of tinkering with this bench, I picked Carter as that out and out type. That if for whatever reason both David and Adam Beard went down, I went, oh well, I want one proper lock.
Yeah.
So I went for Carter as our out and out lock, and he's good tight head lock. His line out calling for the Dragons actually is one of their better points this season, when everything else has gone to shit.
I got no problem.
And then I went with Plumtree just because he can step in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, so for me, I'd probably put Freddie Thomas in that Plumtree role.
Okay. Well, in that case, I go for Carter and Plumtree then.
Yeah, I feel like Plumtree gives a bit of oomph off the bench that you need in your back row, especially against Argentina, where things might get a bit spicy.
I just think it's underrated that he is a bit of, he's a good player, but he's also a bit of a lump. And I like having a bit of a lump to bring off the bench. Yeah. Because particularly if you're bringing off potentially undercooked props.
Yeah. Do you know, I hate this. I hate it. Do you remember in 2019 where it was like we could have had just the most golden, and it was like we're exchanging world-class player for world-class player, and now it's just.
I just remember in 2019 when our second row recover was it was Aaron Shingler, and we nearly lost 2 games just on the basis of the fact that our scrum just lost all weight because Corey Hill and Adam Beard were both injured. Oh no, sorry, Adam Beard had appendicitis.
Yeah, and Corey Hill broke his foot.
Yeah, he broke his foot and didn't make it in time, and they were hoping that he'd be just about fit for final.
And we won't talk about what happened after that.
No.
That's no, because of the team he was playing for at the time. So we're saying we're going to keep Carter, but instead of Plumtree, we're going to go for Freddie Thomas as our 6th set plus this.
Not for me. No, I want Plumtree would stay.
You want Plumtree to stay, so Carter.
Carter. Okay.
I always want to put Gareth Thomas in there, just see how many Thomases we can get in the team. Right, so we're going to have Thomas. We'll keep Plumtree. And we happy to go to a 5-3?
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
I think, as I said, like without Faletau, I think you need a 6-2 when you know that somebody's going to come off. In your forward pack, like obviously you understand that your prop's going to come off, but when you know a back rower can't play a full game, you need to have 2 as cover. But seeing as Wainwright's pretty much indestructible, I'm knocking on every form of wood available here. I think we're fine to go to 5-3.
Yeah.
And then I said, as for those 3, I think Ruben Morgan Williams is.
Can I disagree?
Are you going to go for Hardy?
Well, who scores the most tries?
What's the job of the 9?
Yeah.
So
what's their primary job?
Well, pass and so on, but you don't want to pick a player who's the leading try scorer and score 2 tries in his last outing for Wales. You don't want that, no?
I'd like a player who, the reason he ends up seeming to score all the tries is because he can't get the ball away from the base.
Did he score 2 tries? Yes or no?
doesn't matter. How many did he cost?
Scored 2 tries. I'm just saying he's a
I think you're outvoted, unfortunately, Nick.
No, I know, but I just want to illustrate my point.
I just think he was so bad. The problem was he had just such poor games in the Japan tour that just
did the
etched in
coach
my
take him
mind.
off? Who was the coach? Did he take him off because he was playing poorly?
No, which is so
but we also
baffling.
didn't have a Thomas Williams to come in.
We had Ruben Morgan Williams and Roger Williams. So anyway, I'll leave that as it is, but I don't think all the blame lies with Kieran Hardy in that situation.
I just think Ruben Morgan for me he's playing better. For me, he's playing better. I think he's got the better kicking game, the better passing game. He's a bit quicker. Yes, Kieran Hardy has a very good try scoring rate, in which case he can convert to a winger, which is where you want you. They're the people you want scoring the tries if your system's working well.
I've got nothing against Ruben. I like Ruben.
We've got enough depth at winger though. That's the issue. Can he convert to tight head prop?
You will poise me. If he goes the Perry Weepu way, then he might have a chance. And there is a deep cut for the youngsters.
There is actually a Samoan women's player who's was capped 1 year as a winger and then was capped the following year as a prop. Recently,
Well,
I can't remember her name.
Reedon called up
she was a scrum half, and now she's a hooker.
Came in as a hooker. So that's it's about the same. So yeah, we're going to keep Ruben Morgan Williams in the 21 jersey. Bring in Sheedy, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I think your 23 has to be able to cover centre. Because I think Sheedy is a 10.
Yeah.
And then really the only shuffling around you can do really is Ben Thomas to 15. If you needed a winger. And, Maxwell can move in. So for me, it's either Tompkins or I would go with, for me, you could go Beetham because he is a good utility back, but I think it's a risk.
I go Hennessy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It'd be interesting for a first cap, but you know what? We've got nothing to lose. I'm happy to go with it.
I think you get him a cap, and I think there's just about enough flexibility in that back line to make it work.
He has played winger as well for back.
Yeah, I thought I'd seen him play on the wing for Wales under-20s, but I could have made that up.
I think he's played 12, 13 and then moved into the wing for there.
Yeah.
I said I'm happy to go with that. I mean, weirdly, I'd say it's probably less pressure for him to play in this game than the Japan game.
Yeah.
I think that's it. This game is like if we win, it's amazing.
Yeah.
If we lose, it's expected.
Yeah.
But it's not, oh God, we just don't want the other team to hit 100, which is what our other two games are.
Yeah, and picking up on that as well, that would be a game perhaps for Nick Tompkins, who's got that experience to be in that shirt, because it's, as we said before, that's the game that really could be make or break for us being in the second group of teams come the World Cup draw.
Yeah, I'd also we'll probably get there at the time, but I'd throw Tompkins in for the big games.
Yeah.
I think we just keep away any of the young players for those big games where confidence will get destroyed.
Let's look at that. I mean,
this has been such a positive.
This has been weirdly positive. Maybe Dan is the one who was tracking us down when we all thought it was the other way around. I thought we were just compensating. I don't know. I'm
actually looking forward to it because I want to see what we're going to try and do. It's not going to fall into place. We know that, but it's new manager bounce, as they call it.
Yeah, we'll get on to the game. So I said, just going to quickly wrap up the team so that Lee's got something to clip up and people to mock us. So I'm going to get rid of this because it's not going to be helpful for people because our team's changed and hopefully we can do a different graphic.
You send me the graphic, I'll use my Canva Pro subscription, Harley.
I'm going to give you a graphic to base it off of, and then you can go. Right, so the team you'd have gone with is Blair Murray, Lewis Rees-Zammit, Matt Llewellyn, Ben Thomas, Josh Adams, flexible on the wing, which way around the wings are. Halfbacks of Thomas Williams and Dan Edwards. Then in the pack, we're going Nicky Smith, Dewi Lake, and Kieran Azarati. Second row of Dav Jenkins and Adam Beard. That's 4 and 5. Alex Mann to the rescue at 6 with Jack Captain in at the open side with and Aaron Wainwright at 8. Then on the bench, we're going to go with Liam Belcher, I believe we agreed on, as just having that little bit more leadership and experience, which makes sense if you're taking off effectively a captain thing. And then Reece Carey and Archie Griffin to add some carrying impact to the bench. Then we're going to go for Freddie Thomas and what's his face, Hattie's favourite Labrador, Tame Plumtree.
Tame Plumtree. It's my favourite Labrador right now. Molly's in the doghouse, so.
I said yes. I mean, I won't say what the message you sent me about what your parents said about Molly.
So tell the story if you want.
I mean, it'd be better. It's your story to tell.
She was just being an absolute arsehole. So I went to Northampton game yesterday, Norfolk game yesterday, and Molly was getting looked after by my mum and dad, and they were like having to shut every curtain and everything in the house because she just would not shut up, and she just kept barking at everyone. My mum came to come pick me up from the train station and give me a lift back to the village, and my mum was like, I had to bring Molly in the car with me because she just would not stop barking at people, and I didn't want to leave her in the house on her own where she would bark at everybody. So she had to come to the train station.
And what did your dad message?
I don't think it's appropriate for the podcast. I think it would get us a warning about language. It was so bad. And I was sat there at the game and I just got this message from my dad, who never texts me. And it was just a string of swear words.
Anyway, so then finish off the bench, we've got Rupert Morgan-Williams, Callum Sheedy, and Louis Hennessy for a debut. So I think, are we all happy with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I know Nick's strongly arguing for Hardy, which I get.
No, look, we're lucky, aren't we? We've got two, in my opinion, two very good scrum halves on the bench there. But so I like Ruben. Of course, I like Ruben.
Yeah.
Also, only 4 more years before Johan Mulder qualifies for Wales. Sort of thinking we need now. Anyway, moving on to the game itself. So Argentina have released their sort of like training squad-ish. Basically, the players who are going to be blown for selection and not playing for the Argentina 15. Who are playing Bristol, I believe.
Yeah.
Again, more things. Why aren't the Welsh sides doing this, WRU? Come on, get them
Because we don't have enough players.
I looked at. We had a game. Cardiff played Uruguay with a team led by Dan Fish at 10. You don't need to have good players. It's just fun. We also put nearly injured on, but that's by the by. So what are we expecting for this game? So by the look of it, a couple of players still not available. But I mean, former Dragons favourite Gonzalo Bertrand is available, listed as a scrum half there. Everyone's favourite, is he a 10, is he a 15 in Santiago Carreras? I mean, there's some very, very good names, good players in that squad.
Yeah, they are missing, I think it's like 7 players and 6 of them would usually be in the starting 23, just through injury. And then they're missing like some big-ish names that we would get, we'd be used to. Like the likes of like Thomas Lavanini, and I think Buffelli's not in there. But that backline terrifies me.
Yeah, the pack, I think, are slightly underrated, aren't they? They only really probably in the front 5 this stands out. Well, Gallo, we've mentioned, this Montoya, who leads the team very well and passionately. But they do the job, and the back row is stacked as well. Matera's a hell of a good player. He's only 32, and he's got over 100 caps. Kremer, it's hard to believe, he's only 28.
Yeah.
And I think a really, really underrated player is Juan Martin Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Who I think everyone loves. Player. Everyone talks about, but he's still underrated because I don't think you can talk about him enough. He is just absolutely fantastic player.
Yeah.
No. It's unfortunate because I think Matera will probably start, and I just don't like him as a person. But Gonzalez is my favourite out of all of them.
I'm a big fan of Guido Petty.
My big question for all of you is which Argentinian player do you think is going to get carded first?
Having Sebastian somehow. He'll be walking through the stands and the ref will yellow card him for his scrummaging.
And do you know what? It would be valid.
He's dual qualified.
It would be valid.
It's usually the correct answer. I know he's been playing really well for Cardiff, but
yellow carding him in the stands would be completely valid.
A bit extreme.
No,
it'd be a very URC decision.
Yeah.
To answer the question, the backs as well. We've mentioned a few, but one I have to mention is Juan Cruz Malia, because oh my god, he's just amazing.
Sorry, Nick.
I like the centres as well. They're not sort of superstars in names. Obviously, one places for Chocobare's place for Toulouse, and Cincy for Saracens. But I think they make a really good partnership. They seem to read each other well. Explosive, not the biggest centres, but obviously big enough, and the toughest teak as well. They make some fantastic reads and tackles. So I like that combination of the centre, and it will certainly test us.
I think this is going to be the only time that I'm not looking forward to watching Chocobare's play, because he's just going to rip us a new one. Also, I mean, they've got so much choice in the kind of wings, fullbacks, etc. But Isgro is phenomenal.
He's been playing incredibly well.
He's been playing extremely well
as well. Great. Priskintelli, actually, I think he's been quite underrated. I know he spent a fair bit of time at Zebra as well, but he's been playing well. Again, solidifying that Italian-Argentinian links.
It is interesting. Sorry, Nick.
What the Pumas seem to, whoever comes in, they can rotate, because they've got, as we said, in the backs, they've got certainly on the back three. The other Mali is a little bit a higher standard, but the others are all excellent players as well. But they know the game they're trying to play. They're a very fluid game. They come alive on the counter attack, and they really use transition well. And they try and avoid a lot. They're not a high rucking team, are they? They sort of try and offload before the tackle, and so it'll be very interesting to see how Tandy, because I've not heard we've got a defence coach, have we? So
no, it's going to be. I think Tandy is going to lead the defence with Dan Lidget as an assistant.
Yeah. So it'll be a test of his in the first game of his organisation, because they're a very good set of backs we're up against.
I mean, that's not to ruin all the enthusiasm that we had earlier, but we've got to appreciate Argentina are a fantastic team, and although they had it was an Argentina 15 game against Munster last weekend, I wouldn't count that as a first test. And Argentina always start strong. It's pretty much the exact to Wales, game. Where we tend to grow into blocks of games.
Yeah, it's usually their second game that they don't do as well. If they get a win and then they play the second game is usually a loss, which unfortunately doesn't work because the second team lost last week.
And on paper, this is their easiest game, because they then go to Scotland and then and then England.
Which is why I think it'd be interesting on who they pick at fly half against Wales, because the two fly halves they've actually got listed as fly halves have only got 2 and 3 caps each.
Yeah.
So
which it does make me think they're probably going to go with Carreras at 10.
They could.
I know he's.
But then it's the easiest game. Good. So would they?
I don't know. That's just I could just see them using them to go through, because I also think this is the game they want to put a marker down and really drive the boot in, because they've come in stuck against Wales and Cardiff quite a lot.
Yeah.
Although wasn't our last game against the 2023? Was it the World Cup, or did we play them last year?
Yeah, we played them in the World Cup and we narrowly lost. I think that was very much a change in ref.
That was
changed how the ref. I'm not saying the ref is the reason we lost. I'm saying that
it was the change in ref. Yeah.
the change in ref completely changed. There's a complete change in the breakdown interpretation, which is where we have a really good change with dual open sides, and it became really ineffective.
Yeah.
By having a
And
ref who's more pro forward form.
All of our numbers fell off.
Yes. Which is possibly the least WRU thing to happen these days.
It's also not the only time it's happened either.
And before we digress a bit, so Nick, you sort of alluded to it that Argentina are a lot more open thing, low rucks. They want to keep the ball in motion, because the best way to get quick ruck ball is to not have any rucks at all. What if you were Tandy now team? How do you think we should look at this in terms of, we'll start off looking at defense and then how we're going to counter it and actually score points ourselves later. But what would you suggest?
Well, I think chop tackle is going to be important to get them on the ground quickly, and then perhaps certainly trying to get around the ball so that they're offloading game. You're putting pressure on their offloading game, so doubling up in tackles so that they can't get the ball away, and then we'll see how efficient they are actually at rucking. So I think, and that would be, but and obviously, if we kick badly, they will punish you because they are very good off transition, or if a knock forwards, whatever. That they just come alive, don't they? They're like a good Japanese side.
They're just going to capitalise on every Welsh mistake, which unfortunately, if we went off our record in the last couple of years, we make a lot of mistakes. So that's not particularly great when we kind of look at a track record. I think kick chase is going to be incredibly important. And I also think potentially this is a game that is made for somebody like Jack Morgan, a back rower who, yes, he's slightly undersized, but he's incredibly quick. And he also has a very, very high rugby IQ. So I don't want to encourage a player kind of going off piste, but this is a time when somebody like Jack Morgan can. I'm thinking of his first initial couple of caps where he was going off piste and managed to get a couple of tries in his first couple of games, and I think we could potentially see that kind of Jack Morgan in this game, especially playing. If we've got Man at 6 and Wainwright at 8, he can shine a little bit there.
How about you, Harley? What would you be sort of doing?
I actually think probably not so much the chop tackle would probably have to be a bit more risky and go more for a choke, and actually hold them on and trying to envelop up the arms to try and stop freeing for the offloads.
Yeah, good point.
And maybe slowing down the ball. Because although we're talking about getting them onto the floor, these Argentinian back rowers know how to fight on the floor. They're incredibly good. There's a reason that you find a lot of Argentinians in the Premiership, and they all tend to be incredibly good on ball. I mean, Montoya is fantastic. Andrews Malia, even some of the backs are unbelievable. So I think maybe we need to be soaking up. We might almost be soaking it up. Thing in defence. I think backfield positioning is really good. This is where I'm wondering, actually, is Hennessy, is a debut for Hennessy the best idea? But then I think by the time we'd be looking to bring him on, the game's either won or lost anyway. I won't worry about that. I think, and it's going to be the same wishy-washy answer I come through the attack. If we can look at our defensive system and we can see what we're trying to do, and I can say, right, well, this is sort of our general defensive shape. This is how our backfield coverage is going to work. I'm happy for it to have glitches because that Sandy's going to have a week with these guys. He's not going to be able to introduce new systems that quickly. I imagine it's probably going to be more of an evolution of what Mellon started introducing during the Six Nations and the Japan tour. I said I don't think how we stop Argentina is going to really be or any of the teams is going to be what people are going to be looking for. I think it's more going to be what we do with the ball. So if we move on to that, Hattie, you get to have first dib say on this one. What do you think, or what would you like to see from Wales 3.0 since 2023?
I'd like us not to be an embarrassment. I Obviously, I'd love a win. I'd love a win. However, if we put in a fight, if we manage to get 4 tries, if we manage to stay in the game and it's narrowly lost, if we show that the players actually care about the game, rather than like sometimes I feel like the players have been so disheartened that they just don't look like they want to be there. Which isn't like I'm not having a go at the players. I think that has more to do with the environment that they're in and the coaching and everything else. But to see that the players are enjoying their rugby, they're in the game, they're in the fight. I'd like to see us physically dominate a little bit. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see our line out improve on what it has been. And I'd like to see that that it's clear that we've got plans and structures in place. The end of the Gatland era was just you would watch and you'd be like, I don't know what they're doing, and I don't think they know what they're doing. And then it turned out they didn't know what they were doing because those plans didn't exist. Um, so I think I'd just like to for us to look like an international rugby team.
Yeah.
Sounds
I
fair.
disagree there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, it's definitely all about knowing what we need to do, what we want to do.
We want to see a bit of progress, don't we?
I just don't want to see 15 headless chickens.
Yeah. And it might take until, you know, the second or third game, even though unfortunately the games are organised in such a way that our hardest games are at the end. But even so, even if we lose those, just so we can sort of see some progress in some aspects of a game. We've got to beat Japan. That's a given. But after that, it's, are things improving despite the opposition getting better?
Mm.
I think for me, I think we've got to have, we've got the questions that we've been asking since, well, basically since 2019. Things like, who is our tech post bigger? Who's our centre partnership? What is that type fives composition?
Yeah.
I think the big thing for me as well is I think we need to solve the ball carrying issue because we don't have a Jamie Roberts. We haven't got we don't have George North, don't have Alex Cuthbert. We don't have these superimposing men who are going to win us the game. We need to get it in the pack somewhere. But the question is can we bring these players in without compromising set piece? This is something that Andy Farrell has been doing with Ireland. He's basically on, well, reduce the number of set pieces and be serviceable in the scrum and line out, so that I can get what I want. During the majority of the time when we are playing. Gatland sort of ostensibly did that, but basically went to the extreme of saying, I'm going to get the best ball carriers I can, but they can't function in a set piece, and then didn't give them the ball anyway to carry. So, yeah, I think I'm hoping that we take what we had in the Japan game and from like that Scotland game and everything, and just we're building on that shape and we're just adding layers to it because it was a very simple structure for the Six Nations Japan because it had to be because we were bringing in something completely new. But I think if we can get to end this autumn and just go, I know exactly what Wales are about as a team, I'm going to be happy. I agree with Nick. Japan game's non-negotiable. We've got to win it. Frankly, just if nothing else, this is going to be my point of the podcast where I go, world rankings don't matter until they do. Unfortunately, this is the time where they matter. So at the end of this autumn, we do our World Cup draw. And if we stay in the top 12, we'll have one other big team in a World Cup pool with us. If we drop below that, it's going to be 2, and it's going to be another pool of death.
Yeah.
How much that matters when 16 teams go through, because we're going to have a round of 16, so that Ireland can win a knockout game. There you go. There's my actual cancelable opinion for the podcast. Before I go on that rant, I said, yeah. Any other thoughts on this game before we go?
No, just yeah, looking forward to it. Let's see. Let's go in with a little bit of hope, and yeah, let's shock a few people.
I'm dreading it.
I'm not dreading it.
I have this pit of absolute unsaleable fear in like the pit of my stomach.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not dreading it at all.
I think I've just gotten hit. I think I'm just starting to hit that point of, I'm starting to become one of those. As long as Cardiff's doing well, I just hope my players get through unscathed. I'm sort of starting to get disillusioned. That is a big thing. What I'm hoping is that I get brought back from that.
Mm.
Well,
That's it.
I'm
Like,
just gonna watch.
I think if I see the players on the pitch in the fight, I'm not gonna feel like this anymore, even if it is a loss. But I just want to see them in it.
Absolutely, yeah. Was it to steal from Dan, dying on their shields?
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I'm going to be really mean now and do everyone's favourite thing of, can we predict how much Wales are going to lose? I mean, can we predict the result for the game? We'll go with Nick, because you're excited, looking forward to it, and you are doing the best in the prediction league.
Argentina by 6.
Hattie?
Argentina by 3.
Oh, it's going to come down to me, isn't it? I'm looking for an Alex Mann masterclass where he absolutely has the Argentine back row on, and Wales are going to lose by 3.
I just said 3.
But you just didn't have the pizzazz. So I think that's the Argentina game wrapped up. So I have had a little request from producer Lee. So he would like people to submit ideas for a quote to go on some wrap branded merchandise for the pod. For example, for the Dragons, we've got the hope that kills you. For Cardiff, it's going to be a picture of Tony with his tinfoil hat and another thing. I'm not sure what the. I think it's Welcome to Yap City for the Women's Rugby Treehouse. It could be wrong.
I don't. We can't decide what it is, which is very on brand for us. Scarlett's is Westerer is Besterer.
Yeah, I just put my 2 cents in for the Women's Rugby Treehouse. I do quite like Welcome to Yap City.
Yeah, we can't decide.
We
can't decide if it's going to be like Yap City RFC.
No, either.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if you have any suggestions for one for the wrap, because the FOFO one has risen some complaints, I won't expand on the acronym. Feel free, and if you've enjoyed the pod and me stumbling through this like someone who has not had enough caffeine, please do like and subscribe. Share it with a friend. Share it with an enemy if you think it's that terrible, because it all counts as listeners to us. And also, please do check out the many other pods that we're associated, both on the Rap channel and our sister channel, the Global Game Line, including the aforementioned Yap City of the Women's Rugby Treehouse. And I don't think we push it enough. So also we have the Welsh language pod, and I've forgotten how to pronounce it. So Nick,
Podlediad Rugby Cymru.
That's the one. And all that's left to say is thank you for listening. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Hattie. Get well soon, Dan. Nostar.
Nostar.